What's good, gang? It's your boy Big Ben. It's back another banger. And today, we got the NBA is about to change forever. This video made by the Flight Mike. I ain't gonna lie. I was just talking about this earlier with my mom. I was just telling her that they're supposed to apparently add 2 teams in the NBA. It's a whole lot that's been going on lately, bro. Like in the NBA. First of all, obviously, Bam scored 83. Nobody predicted that. Nobody seen that one coming. I'm not going to discredit it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know my take on that. But 83 is still 83 at the end of the day. Shea beat Wilt record for the most consecutive 20-point games. Almost lost it against the Wolves. But he still got it. It's still alive. And now they say that they're going to add 2 teams in the NBA. They voting on that next week if they're going to add 2 NBA teams. I already knew about Las Vegas potentially having a team. The theory was before that since the Dallas Mavericks traded Luka, they were just going to move that entire Dallas team to Las Vegas. That was the theory before. But now we can clearly see that's not the case. They're just going to add 2 new teams potentially. And they're bringing back the Sonics too, apparently. And I'm, as an OKC fan, I'm glad. It will be really dope to see the Seattle Supersonics go head-to-head with the OKC. By default, we're going to be rivals, bro. I ain't gonna lie. By default, like, I feel like one of our only, like, main rivals is the Nuggets. That's our rivals right there, the Nuggets. But by default, we're going to be rivals with Seattle, too. Because it's like, Seattle fans genuinely hate us. And a lot of OKC fans don't respect Seattle, if that makes sense. Like, I respect Seattle, but a lot of the fan base just clash. Even though we're part of the same, like, franchise, they clash. It's gonna be like a Lakers versus Clippers type of rivalry. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, bro, we're gonna get into this video. We're not gonna waste no more time. I think this type of change that the NBA needs, bro. We're going to a whole new era. We're losing LeBron James, losing KD, Steph Curry, not long from now. We're losing them. And we're in a new era where Shea's the best player in the NBA. Luka is the third best. Jokic is the second best, but he getting kind of older himself. Same with Giannis, you know what I'm saying? And Wemby, we're in a new era. So it's kind of like cool change. If you would have told me this is how it would be a couple years ago, I would have laughed you in your face, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Didn't think it was going to pan out like this.
The idea of adding expansion teams. We're talking about Las Vegas and Seattle here.
This vote next week is seen as a formality to pass. It'll need 23 of 30 governors, $7 to $10 billion range for each of these teams. But first,
$7 billion, maybe $10 billion per team. That's the price tag we're talking about right now to buy your way into the NBA. And as of Monday morning, the league just took the first real step towards making it happen. According to Shams, the NBA Board of Governors will vote at next week's meetings on March 24th and 25th to officially begin the expansion process.
And it's supposed to be like official. Like if they vote and it's actually like they vote and it's a thing, that is supposed to be official starting in 2028-2029 season. See, there's like 2 seasons away if we're not counting this season, because the season basically over. That's like 2 seasons away. That's pretty quick, but at the same time, that's pretty far away. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I feel like I'm like, the fact that we got 2 teams in the NBA
got their
before
teams
GTA
stolen
6
from them,
kind of
the
crazy,
Seattle
bro.
Supersonics. And the next city is an up-and-coming city for sports, particularly because sports is all in on gambling now. Las Vegas and Seattle are the 2 cities that would receive new franchises, with the target date being the start of the 2028-29 season. This is not a rumor, guys. This is not a maybe one-day situation. This is not something we're speculating on anymore. This is an actual vote happening next week in New York to start the clock on the NBA going from 30
Crazy times we in,
teams
bro.
to 32. And the ripple effects, they're going to touch every single team in the league. We're talking about a potential expansion draft that could strip rosters across the league. We're talking about conference realignment. We're talking about ownership groups involving Magic Johnson, possibly.
Yeah, that's right. They said that either the Wolves or the Grizzlies, they said that a team has to go to the East now. I would hope it's the Wolves, because imagine with the rivalry between Shea versus Ant in the finals. That would be something special. I would love to see it, bro. I would love to see it. But at the same time though, like, it would make more sense if it's the Memphis Grizzlies, since they on the same alignment. They're on the same alignment as the Chicago Bulls. The Chicago Bulls is considered an Eastern team, so it will make sense for them. But I don't know, man. They saying that one of them teams going over there though. I hope it's the Wolves though.
LeBron James and Bill Foley from the Las Vegas Golden Knights. We're talking about the return of the Seattle James and Bill Foley from the Las
That's the name that they're gonna come up with, Golden Knights.
Vegas Golden Knights. We're talking about the return of the Seattle Supersonics, nearly 20
Las
years
Vegas
after they were
Golden
ripped away
Knights.
from that city. And on top of
That
all
sound like
that,
an
the
AI
NBA is
generated name.
simultaneously trying to launch an entirely new league in Europe. So we're going to break down everything today. The vote, the money, the ownership drama, the expansion draft, conference realignment, the European League, and what this all means for your favorite basketball team. Because the NBA is about to look very, very different. Before we get to the content, make sure you're subscribed, because YouTube might not show you one of my videos again if you aren't subscribed. And now that we get all that out of the way, let's get to today's video.
This is weird.
We got a lot of cool stuff going on today. First, PrizePicks is dropping their Taco Tuesday promo. That means
Taco Tuesday. I don't care about all that, sir. I ain't gonna lie to you. With all due respect, of course.
Thank you, PrizePicks, for sponsoring today's video. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? All right, so let's start with the basics. What exactly is going down on March 24th? The NBA's Board of Governors, that's all 30
I ain't gonna lie, what the heck?
team owners will meet in New York for their scheduled meetings. And on the agenda is a formal vote to begin exploring expansion exclusively in Las Vegas and Seattle. This is important. This is not the vote to approve expansion. This is the vote to start the bidding process. Think of it like this. They're voting to open the door and start looking at who wants to walk through it. For this vote to pass, 23 of the 30 governors need to vote in favor. That's a 3/4 majority. And from everything we're
I thought it was gonna be like the majority rules. 23? That's like a... Is that really a good chance that we're gonna have new teams? Cause I'm thinking the majority rules like 16. It would be 16. But 23. You need 23 out of 30 to agree to this. That's a lot of teams, man. Low key.
hearing, there's growing momentum to get this done. Shams is reporting that a growing number of owners are supportive because of the long-term revenue implications of adding these two markets. Think of it this way: what owner would not want two additional teams that could boost revenue, which they would get a slice of the pie of? Believe it or not, some owners are hesitant about diluting their league equity. Right now, every owner holds a 1/30th share of the NBA pie. Expansion takes that to 1/32nd, so that's a smaller slice. And some of these owners want to see the actual bids come in. They want to see the actual valuations and the franchise fees before they commit to giving up any equity. Which, by the way, this is where some insane money comes in, because league industry executives are projecting bids in the $7 to $10 billion range per franchise. Let me put this into perspective for you for a little bit. The Phoenix Suns sold for $4 billion in 2022. The Boston Celtics sold for $6.1 billion in 2025. The Los Angeles Lakers were the biggest sale in United States professional sports history. They went from the Buss family to Mark Walter for $10 billion. The Trailblazers sold to Tom Dundon for $4.25 billion. Franchise valuations in the NBA have absolutely exploded over the last 4 years. And that's exactly why the expansion fee is being talked about at this level. And here's the thing that should convince the hesitant owners. If both expansion fees land at, say, $8 billion each, that's $16 billion being split among the existing 30 owners. That's over $500 million per team, just for saying yes. Even if your slice of the NBA revenue pie gets slightly smaller going forward, you're getting a massive one-time payout. The math is pretty compelling. If next week's vote passes, a second vote later in 2026 would be needed to finalize everything, to officially approve the new teams, lock in the ownership groups, and transition the league to 32 teams. Both votes require
This
that
is gonna
same
be
23
weird
of
if
30
they have
threshold.
two more teams.
Now, that's not even the craziest part. What's Really crazy is who might be interested in purchasing one of these teams. In Las Vegas, the biggest name in the mix is Magic Johnson. And I mean, dude, of course it is. Magic Johnson and his group, which includes sports and entertainment veteran Andre Cleveland and Las Vegas businessman Mike Bellin, met with the governor of Nevada last month in a series of private meetings about launching a formal pursuit of the Vegas franchise. They're not talking about a team either. They're talking about building a new arena and hotel complex on the Las Vegas Strip. Magic Johnson said that Las Vegas is my favorite home away from home, and I can't think of a better place to expand my Magic Johnson enterprises. And keep in mind, this man already has ownership stakes in the Dodgers, the Commanders, LAFC, the Washington Spirit, and the LA Sparks. Adding an NBA franchise to that portfolio would be absolutely wild. But Magic might not be the only one trying to get in on the Vegas team. Bill Foley, the guy who owns the NHL's Vegas Golden Knights and holds about 15% of T-Mobile Arena, has publicly said he wants to be part of a Vegas ownership group. He even told Vegas PBS last year that he'd invest $300 million in arena renovations if he was part of the deal. And Adam Silver recently told the governor on a Zoom call that T-Mobile Arena could work as a venue if hundreds of millions of dollars in upgrades were made. And then there's the LeBron James part of it all. According to Eric Pincus, there's a rumor going around the league that LeBron wants to be the face of the Las Vegas expansion team once he retires. Which, I mean, can you imagine? LeBron James ownership group, Las Vegas, the NBA? That would be the most Hollywood thing LeBron has ever done, and the man literally plays for the Lakers. This could turn into the equivalent of what Michael Jordan did with the Washington Wizards in the latter.
Bro, that would be bigger than... This would be bigger than Michael Jordan going to the Wizards. Way bigger. Because, like, it's literally Las Vegas, though. It's Vegas.
Part of his career. But at that point, LeBron James would be 43 years old. I really doubt that he would come out of retirement to play with an expansion Las Vegas team just to boost ticket sales, but it's still a wild thought to think about. Shaq has also publicly expressed interest in being involved. So you could potentially have a Vegas ownership group that includes Magic Johnson, LeBron James, Shaq, and Bill Foley. That's not just an ownership group. That's a basketball Mount Rushmore with a billionaire casino operator attached to it. On the Seattle side, the ownership situation is a bit quieter right now, and nothing against Seattle, but I really can't blame them for that. The arena situation is actually more settled. Climate Pledge Arena, the old Key Arena that got a massive renovation from 2028 to 2021, is already there and ready. The Kraken and the Storm already play there. Seattle has the building, they just need the team. And that brings us to maybe the most emotional part of this entire story, because if this expansion goes through, it doesn't just mean Seattle gets a basketball team. It means the Seattle Supersonics are coming back. When Seattle and the Thunder's ownership group settled a lawsuit over the arena lease back in 2008, the two parties agreed that if Seattle ever got a new team, the Thunder's ownership group would give back the rights to Seattle's name, logos, and history. The Thunder would also cede the Sonics' historical records to the new franchise. This is similar to what happened with Charlotte after they reclaimed the Hornets' original history from New Orleans back in 2014 when the Bobcats rebranded to the Hornets. Now, think about what that means. Kevin Durant's early career, those belong to Sonics history. Gary Payton and Shawn Kemp, the 1996 finals run, the Lenny Wilkens coaching era, all of it goes back to Seattle. The only NBA franchise that has their history literally being held hostage by another team would finally get it back 20 years after it was taken from them. The Seattle market has been without an NBA team since 2008 when Clay Bennett moved the Supersonics to Oklahoma City because of a dispute over the lease for Key Arena. And Seattle fans have been fighting for this ever since. They show up to exhibition games. They wave "Bring Back Our Sonic" signs out nationally televised games. They've kept the faith for almost 2 decades. And now it's actually genuinely happening. If the 2028 to 2029 season is the target, that would be exactly 20 years after the Sonics left. 20 years. There are fans in Seattle who were kids when the Sonics left who are now in their late 20s who have never had an NBA team to root for. This is generational, but it also means the entire rest of the NBA is going to look significantly different. When you add 2 teams in Las Vegas and Seattle, both of those teams are obviously Western Conference cities. That would give the West 17 teams and the East 15. That doesn't work. So somebody's got to move to the East. NBA executives expect either the Minnesota Timberwolves or the Memphis Grizzlies to move to the Eastern Conference to create 2 balanced conferences of 16 teams each. Geographically, the New Orleans Pelicans are also a logical candidate.
I think they need to add the Wolves to the East. Because if they add the Wolves to the East, it will make a better rivalry. Because a lot of people think that the only person that can be better than Shea is Ant. So what better would it be than to have his biggest rival go against them in the finals, like potentially go in the finals? He already made it to the conference finals. Maybe it'll be hard, but it might be. Who knows how hard it could be? Who knows? Truthfully, you know what I'm saying? Because he might not be able to beat the Celtics, might not be able to beat the Pistons. But I'm thinking if he can beat the Nuggets, then it's definitely possible he can beat the Pistons and the Celtics. I'm thinking that he could beat the Knicks too. I ain't gonna lie. So it'll be better, like competition wise, if the Wolves go to the East, in my opinion. But if we just going like what teams should be in the East, realistically, it should be Memphis. Because the only reason why those even in the West in the first place is because of Vancouver, Canada, bro. That's the only reason why.
Further east than both Minnesota and Memphis on the map. Now, think about what this means competitively.
Washington.
If you're the Timberwolves and you move to the east, you're suddenly no longer fighting through the Thunder, Nuggets, Spurs, and Rockets to get a top 4 seed.
You're going against the Pistons, Knicks, Celtics. They're all good. And you're going against up-and-coming Charlotte Hornets that are getting better and better. You just went from getting your cheeks clapped to getting your cheeks clapped, but it's not like viciously. Now you're just getting some Vaseline with it this time. You know what I'm saying? And he's a bucket though, so I feel like he can hang with them. He can hang with them better. I don't know. The Pistons are tough though. The Pistons, they might have the same problem regardless. I don't think it's gonna be any different. I ain't gonna lie. We just gotta like, Ant isn't the issue. We just need the rest of the team to become more consistent, and then boom, it could be like a real deal rivalry between the Wolves and the OKC. But like I said, I would love to see it though. I would love to see it. Because I'm an Ant
conference
fan.
Where, depending on the year, you might have a clearer path, and this also impacts scheduling. Right now, you play division opponents 4 times and non-division conference opponents 3 or 4 times each, with 32 teams and 16 per conference. The whole schedule structure has to change. The NBA has already been experimenting with the NBA Cup and play-in tournament. Going to 32 teams could open the door for even more dramatic restructuring, potentially 8 divisions of 4 teams, which would mirror the NFL setup and be perfect for a potential expansion of the NBA Cup format. Now, this is the part that should have every general manager in the league sweating, because an expansion draft is coming, and if you think your team's roster is safe, you better think again. Based on historical expansion draft rules and what the NBA has done in the past, here's how this is expected to work. Each of the 30 existing teams can protect up to 8 players. That's it, 8. Everyone else on your roster is exposed and available to...
So basically, we just have to lose a player? That's tough. Okay, so we keeping Shea, obviously. We keeping Chet. We keeping J-Dub, obviously. Keeping, hopefully, Alhart. Dort, he's a safe pick. We keeping him. We keeping Casey Wallace. We keeping ISO Joe, I think. No, Aaron Wiggins. Aaron Wiggins. That's 7 right there. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I prefer Aaron Wiggins though, low key. So we either could lose ISO Joe, Alex Caruso. No, we gotta keep Alex Caruso. I ain't gonna lie. So we could lose ISO Joe. Oh my gosh, we got a lot of good players on our team. I just thought about that. We got AJ Mitchell too. We could lose. We could potentially lose. So it's a lot of good players that we could really lose for real. We only gonna lose one though, I think they said. But we need all of them. No, I ain't gonna lie. I don't like this. Okay, so keep Shea, keep Dub, keep Chet. That's the big three. That's solidified. Keep iHeart. And keep Dort. Keep Caruso. We need the vet who can come in and go crazy. Keep AJ Mitchell. And keep Aaron Wiggins. That's the locks that we probably going to have. So that means Isaiah Joe is exposed to get taken up. Kenrick Williams is exposed to get taken up. Jay Will, the light-skinned Duke Dennis, is exposed to get taken up. I ain't gonna lie, I don't like that. That's tough. I don't like that.
This is the part that should have every general manager in the league sweating, because an expansion draft is coming.
No, we gotta lose 2 players, right? We gotta lose 2 players. We gotta lose 2 players potentially, I think.
Do you think your team's
or just
roster
one?
is safe? You better think again. Based on historical
'Cause
expansion
it's
draft
30
rules and what
teams, so
the
it should
NBA
be
has
only
done in the
one,
past,
though.
here's how this is expected to work. Each of the 30 existing teams can protect up to 8 players. That's it, 8. Everyone else on your roster is exposed and available to be taken by the 2 new expansion teams. The expansion teams can select 1 player from each existing team, and they have to select from at least 14 teams. So at minimum, 14 players per expansion team, 28 players being ripped off of existing rosters. And the expansion teams can take up to 29 players as well if they wanted to. Now teams can protect players. The expansion teams can take up to 29 players as well.
They can take up to 29 players.
Well, if they wanted to. Now teams can protect players under contract and restricted free agents, but they cannot protect unrestricted free agents. And here's the kicker: even if a team has fewer than 8 players under contract, they still have to leave at least 1 player exposed. Nobody's safe. And the team that is probably going to get the most screwed by this is the Oklahoma City Thunder. Think about it. They've got SGA, Chet Holmgren, Jalen Williams, Lou Dort, Isaiah Hartenstein, Alex Caruso. Can they protect all 8 of their key guys? What about their young draft picks? They have 2 first-round picks potentially in this NBA draft alone. Both of these picks could fall into the lottery. Some team is going to lose a real rotation player in this draft. That's just the reality. And then there's the whole trade market that opens up around this too.
Tough.
Based on past expansion
Just
drafts,
keep
existing
Shea,
teams can
J
work
Dub,
out pre-draft
and
trades
Chet,
with the
and I'm
expansion
good,
teams.
though.
So you could see deals where
I don't
want to
get rid of Case and Wallace.
Don't take player X.
I just forgot about Case and Wallace that fast, bro. So we need Case and Wallace. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if we lose Caruso, we gonna need Case and Wallace though, cause Case and Wallace is way too young to give up on. We need Case and Wallace. He's a genuine bucket, good defender, top tier defender. Yeah, we need Case and Wallace. We need. I would love to keep Aaron Wiggins. And then, shoot, man, that's tough. That is tough. We're cooked.
From us
And then they could get Jared McCain.
Exchange will give you a first-round pick.
Wow.
Or the expansion team could leverage their position. We'll take this bad contract off your hands, but you're giving us assets to do it. It's like the Las Vegas Golden Knights expansion draft in the NHL, in which George McPhee...
Oh, Las Vegas. I'm thinking they said Las Vegas Golden Knights was like a team in the NBA or something. That's how I thought. That's an actual genuine team.
It's like the Las Vegas Golden Knights expansion draft in the NHL, in which George
NHL,
released half of the
hockey
league.
team.
The NBA version of that is coming. And then there's the NBA draft itself. In past expansions, new teams have been slotted in the first round. Charlotte got the 4th overall pick in 2004 and traded up to 2nd to grab Emeka Okafor. The Raptors and Grizzlies got picks 6 and 7 in 1995. But historically, expansion teams have not been eligible for the #1 pick in their first year. So if you're tanking for a general generational prospect, the expansion teams won't be competing with you for that top spot. One more thing, the expansion teams will operate under a reduced salary cap. It's 66.7% of the normal cap in year 1 and 80% in year 2, with the full cap kicking in for year 3, but they still have to hit the salary floor, 90% of their reduced cap, so they'll need to take on salary, which means bad contracts suddenly become valuable trade chips for teams trying to protect their best players. And right when you thought this was the biggest story in the NBA, it got even bigger, because while Adam Silver is working on domestic expansion, he's also simultaneously trying to launch an entirely new basketball league in Europe at the same time. This man is trying to expand in 2 directions at once. The NBA and FIBA have been partnering on plans for NBA Europe, a new 16-team professional basketball league across the continent. Final bids for prospective teams are due by March 31st, 2026. The working target for the league to start play is October 2027, though Adam Silver has said there's no concrete timetable locked in yet. The plan calls for 12 permanent franchises across major cities. We're talking London, Manchester, Paris, Lyon, Madrid, Barcelona, Rome, Milan, Berlin, Munich, Athens, and Istanbul. The other 4 spots would rotate annually through a merit-based qualifying system, kind of like how soccer's championship league works. So teams from domestic European cities could earn their way in. And here's where it gets really wild. NBA Commissioner Mark Tatum has talked about eventually having NBA teams play against European league teams in a preseason cup tournament. Imagine the Knicks flying to Paris to play PSG's basketball team, or the Lakers going to Madrid to play Real Madrid. And medium term, 5 to 10 years down the road, they're talking about potentially having the top finishers from the European League enter the NBA Cup tournament. That would be absolute.
The good thing about this is, though, the fact that, you know what I'm saying, like when the actual, like, you know, the Olympics come through, then it actually means more. Like, obviously it means a lot now because it's a lot more NBA players that's from around the world, not just USA. It would mean more now, obviously now when we win, but if United States win in the future and they have such a stacked team like Europe and they're like talented as well, like USA, then that would be like big, you know what I'm saying? Because like it would mean that you actually won, like you're the best team in the world, you're the best players in the world. It will be nothing you can debate no more after that, you know what I'm saying? People will say that the NBA, because the NBA Finals is composed of the best players in the world because it's the best league, but they have another league that's, if it's anywhere near as close to being as good as the NBA, then yeah, you know what I'm saying, it would mean a whole lot more. There's nothing you can say. Nothing you can say, you know what I'm saying?
Insane. You could have AC Milan or Real Madrid playing in the NBA Cup against actual NBA teams. The NBA is trying to do what soccer has done for decades, create a truly global competition structure. And with about 1 in every 6 NBA players currently coming from Europe, including guys like Giannis, Wemby, Jokic, and Luka, the talent pipeline is already there. This isn't just a money play. This is Adam Silver trying to turn the NBA into the most globally dominant professional sports league on the planet. Silver even joked about the workload recently, saying, "I'm sure you can see the bags under my eyes, but we love hard work at the NBA." The man is simultaneously expanding domestically, launching a European league, managing the new media rights deal, and running the day-to-day operations of a 30-team league.
I just don't like the fact my team.
So what does this mean for your favorite team? If you're an OKC Thunder fan, your team literally exists because the Supersonics left Seattle. This expansion would close that chapter of guilt and controversy forever. But
I have no guilt. You know what I'm saying? Listen, at the end of the day, they sold their team. This is on them. This is on them. You know what I'm saying? If I was never an OKC Thunder fan, if I was never a fan of Russell Westbrook, I would be a fan of the Seattle Supersonics. You know what I'm saying? I'll be a fan of that team. But I have no guilt at all because at the end of the day, the Seattle Supersonics still sold their team to OKC. That's on them. I shouldn't feel guilty because of the decision that they made. You know what I'm saying? I have no guilt.
Sonics left Seattle. This expansion would close that chapter of guilt and controversy forever, but it also means the Thunder have to give back the Sonics history, such as Kevin Durant's early years, the Sean Payton and Gary Payton era. On top of that,
they said early years. It was 1 year. But yeah,
Roster
his rookie
is so
season.
stacked right now that protecting only 8 players is going to be painful. One of your depth players is going to go, maybe even more. If you're a Minnesota or Memphis fan, you might be switching conferences. That could be a blessing or curse depending on the year. The Minnesota Timberwolves would easily be one of the top teams in the Eastern Conference right now. If you're a team with a young, deep roster, the expansion draft is coming for you. Teams with 9, 10, 11 quality rotation players are going to have to make impossible choices about who to protect. Some really good players are going to end up on expansion rosters. That's just the nature of this. If you guys
I think Jared McCain is gonna go. He's gonna be on the expansion team. Yeah, he's gonna be on the like. It's some players that gotta stay. Obviously, our top 5 gotta stay. Like we gotta keep Shea, Chet, Dub. Obviously, we gotta keep them. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people give a lot of slack to Dort. You know what I'm saying? But I think he has to stay too. You know what I'm saying? Our heart, we don't really have another center to his caliber. So by default, we kind of need him. You know what I'm saying? AJ Mitchell, we can't let him go. We can't. The type of bucket he is, he's one of the only players on our team that can kind of move like Shea, get a bucket by himself without having to you know what I'm saying? He can get a bucket. And he got some good defense. We need to keep AJ Mitchell. We need to keep Cason Wallace. We can't give up Cason Wallace. We genuinely can't. We just can't. I ain't gonna lie. He's too nice. He's too nice. Now, where it becomes tricky is the fact that we will have to give up, at the very least, we will have to give up Jay Will, ISO Joe, Aaron Wiggins, and we know what type of bucket Aaron Wiggins is. ISO Joe. And we just got Jared McCain too. So Jared McCain is a bucket too. All of them are buckets. But we gotta lose one of them. Kenrich Williams, if I could just choose to get rid of Kenrich Williams, then that would be easy. No offense. Kenrich Williams is good too. It's just that he's not as good as the other players, in my personal opinion. You know what I'm saying? But knowing how it works, basically they can pick. They're going to pick the best player they can get if they can get it. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be hard, bro. It's going to be tough. They probably going to take Jay Will, ISO Joe, or Aaron Wiggins. Whoever is left, they're going to take, and there's some good players. But we just need to keep. I just know one thing. We need to keep Shea. We need to keep Cason Wallace. Dub. You know what I'm saying? Chet. I really would love to keep Caruso, but he might be the one that get took. To be honest, he might be the one that get took. But we can't. One thing for sure, we can't lose our star player. We can't lose our 3 players, big 3. Can't lose our only center. Can't lose our best defender, Dort. Can't lose Cason Wallace. He's way too young and way too good to he can give you 30 while taking 5 steals. It's not many players like that. By that logic alone, we can't lose him. I would hate to go against that. Yeah. That's tough. I don't know how it's gonna look. I'm kind of nervous now on who we gonna lose.
Remember, Gerald Wallace went from a role player to one of the key players of the Charlotte Bobcats' early years. So some lives are potentially going to be changed. If you're a team with bad contracts, congratulations, those contracts just became assets. Expansion teams need to hit the salary floor, and they might be willing to take your overpaid veteran in exchange for you sweetening the deal with draft capital. And if you're a fan of the NBA in general, the NBA is about to get a lot bigger. 32 teams domestically, a 16-team European League potentially launching, the NBA Cup, the play-in tournament. Adam Silver is building something massive. Whether it dilutes the product or elevates it depends on how well the league manages the transition. But one thing is for certain, basketball is about to be everywhere. If this is your first time watching my videos, make sure you subscribe if you want to get the latest updates. And aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic. Until our next.
Man, what y'all think about this right here, man? I don't know how to feel about this. I didn't think we was gonna have to lose players, though. But I guess it makes sense. It makes sense. I just wish that they would have decided to do this when we were trash. That's the only thing, though. Now that we're good, now they want to change stuff up. Now that OKC good, now they want to take our players. See what I be saying, bro? This type of stuff we got to deal with. The moment we become good, we're too good. Now we got to change stuff up. It ain't fair enough. When the Nuggets were good, nobody was talking about no expansion. When the Dallas Mavericks are good, nobody was talking about this. You know what I'm saying? When they had Giannis in the finals, nobody was talking about this. Phoenix Suns in the finals, nobody was talking about this. OKC become good for 2 years, and now we got to change it all the way up. Like this, that's tough. But, you know, I am actually still excited to see the Supersonics come back if it happens. I just don't know. I just don't like the fact that we got to lose players, though, in the process of this. But, you know, it is what it is, bro. It is what it is. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts on this whole situation, this expansion in the NBA. I'm curious what you got to say. I'm gone.